All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about old Gene Simmons, the creepiness of old guys, and of course, doing it in real time for a few real people out here just like you and just like me. And people would say, takes one to know one, Dave. Creepy. All right, so I guess I have to own it, right? Unless you want to get me a time machine, folks, this is it here. This is it. Doing the best I can. So I am going to talk about Gene Simmons and the outrage and the uproar because there's not much to talk about in the world of classic rock, as always. And I might actually defend Gene a little bit. So then I'll be really in big trouble. Before I start defending Gene Simmons, here's a group I heard a couple of years ago, and it was in my top 20 for the year. Memoria Avenue. And again, this is just for people who want to explore some new melodic rock. The album now is 2 years old, but most people probably haven't heard it. I really liked it. It does have some journey music tendencies to it. It also has some uh, proggy stuff going on, but super good melodic rock. Uh, Very nice as far as production value, lots of keyboards, pretty decent vocals. The vocals might actually be the weakest part of this, though. But honestly, once you listen to it a few times, you get used to the way the lead singer, sings. And so it's just part of the entire um, band and their sound. So Memoria Avenue doesn't roll off the tongue. If it was Memorial Avenue, it might sound better, but there's no M on the end of that or an L on the end of that. So it's Memoria Avenue. All right. Check it out. If you don't like it, like I always say, you get like a full refund. If you're streaming, by the way, that streaming revenue is something like 0.003 cents or something. It's just for each spin. It's just crazy. And you wonder why uh, the music industry is in trouble. Spotify, that's not working. That's not working. It works for the consumer. It does not work for the artist. All right. On to Gene Simmons, because I know people are going to disagree with me on this, but it's not that it's that important, though. But here's the headline, and this is all over classic rock media today because, there's not much going on. Gene Simmons faces criticism after making creepy comments about female dancers on Dancing with the Stars. What is it? What age do you enter creepiness? What age is it? 40? Is it 50? Is it 60? What number is it? I mean, Gene is 75. Is it 70? I mean, I guess it's how you look and how you behave. And is Rick Springfield creepy? I don't think so. And he looks really good for his age, so I point him out as somebody who's probably not all that creepy, who's an old dude. I think age is a mindset anyway, but it seems the younger folks are really obsessed today with calling out the older folks for having a different perspective on everything: politics, music, life in general, faith in God, all of that stuff. I've noticed it's like, wow, great take, Grandpa. It's like, okay, thanks, Junior. Thanks, somebody with no life experiences, for telling me how I suck. So anyway, sorry about that. Just went off on a tangent. So Gene Simmons is facing heat for his controversial feedback as guest judge on Dancing with the Stars. Full stop. Okay. So you made Gene Simmons a judge. So you might have to put up with some of his crazy commentary. Gene, by the way, has been a very interesting character for a long time, and he was creepy when he was a young man. He's been in movies and television shows, and typically he plays a creepy character. He maximizes his creepiness for the small screen and the big screen, along with his stage persona with Kiss. So, yeah, I'm sure he'd say, yeah, I'm kind of creepy, but I'm Gene Simmons, so I've got more money than you. That's what he would. I think he said that recently. On Tuesday, October 9th, the Kiss rocker, 75, of course, they want to make sure that you know how old he is. That's 116 in pharma years, by the way, raised eyebrows after he made several comments about the contestants' physical appearances while guest judging the show's hair metal night episode. Oh, the horrors. So he made several comments about their physical appearances. You're not supposed to notice that there's a girl strutting right in front of you, barely wearing anything, Uncle Gene. You're not supposed to acknowledge that. Oh, my goodness. And isn't this the guy who probably had a say in which girl was going to be in which Kiss video? Do you think Gene had a little bit to say? I would think so, right? I mean, I'm sure if there were girls in his video that he felt were below his standard, he would have said, you know what? We need to have more auditions or whatever. I'm just saying. I mean, this is supposed to be a hair metal segment. Hair metal. Go watch some hair metal videos sometime if you haven't done that. I'm not saying I like them. I'm not saying it's good for society, but if you're doing a hair metal contest, physical appearance might be a factor. It's not like physical appearance. How could you comment on physical appearance? Because weren't there all really hot looking girls in those videos? Wasn't that like a thing? I can't recall. Were there a bunch of ugly women in those videos back in the day? And again, I'm straying into dangerous categories here. Well, who's to say and who's the judge of what's ugly and how dare you? Okay, I've answered my own stuff. So you're not supposed to look. That's what this indicates here. You're not, okay. I'm not looking. I'm looking, but I'm not thinking about it. Okay, I'm thinking about it. Stop. Okay. He's looking, he's thinking about it. He's Gene Simmons, for crying out loud. Pick a different judge if you don't want this to happen, and do a different style of competition. Hair metal. Okay. It's the hair metal night episode. Anyway, Simmons has not publicly addressed the backlash, and People, I guess that's People magazine, has reached out to his representative for comment. Haven't heard anything back. After former NFL player Danny Amendola and his partner Whitney Carson finished their peso doble, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, to Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer, Simmons claimed, "This is a brand new experience for me, and it's difficult to look at you and to figure out which one is more hot, hot, hot." Okay, he's doing a little Buster Poindexter there. Is that the offensive comment? Hot, hot, hot? Really? That's weak. That might be creepy, but it's still weak. It's not like over the top crazy, but I think it gets worse here. Let's see. He says, "Danny, I'm telling you, you're right next to somebody, one of the most beautiful women on the planet." Oh no. Oh, the horrors. He called her one of the most beautiful women on the planet. Gene, how dare you? This is breaking me up, man. I'm choking. He added this as cameras pan to Carson, who had a bewildered look on her face. So I guess the compliment about how beautiful she is made her bewildered. See, this, if Gene Simmons had said something far more slangish or derogatory, I could see the outrage and the backlash. But so far, we've got hot, 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 and you're the most beautiful woman on the planet. That's what we got. And we got full-blown misogyny off of that. This is way worse than Baby It's Cold Outside. It's comical. And again, though, I'm not saying Gene isn't creepy. Takes one to know one, right? So is Gene a creep? Probably. But, he's been doing this stuff for 50 years or so. So I don't know why this is a surprise to anyone. In another instance, there's more. Simmons shared his thoughts on Chandler Kinney and her partner, Brandon Armstrong's jive to Twisted Sister's "We're Not Gonna Take It." He says here, this is Gene, "Chandler, you fogged up my glasses. I don't know what to tell you. You move me." not just with your gyrations. Oh, okay. I guess the gyrations is a little it's a little much. He goes with your gyrations and so on, but your beautiful face and how you were into the emotion of it. Okay. So overall though, that comment other than the word gyrations, he could have said movements, he could have said some other words. Gyration is a little more like, hey, I'm watching you, baby. I'm watching those gyrations. I get it. I get it. But does this really go to the level of being on all the classic rock websites as an outrage? It's Gene Simmons. Pick your judges better if you don't want this. And then he says, your beautiful face and how you were into the emotion of it. That last part of it has nothing to do. That's something that a lot of judges and a lot of people would say is kind of like a generic phrase. You're really into it. Okay. And you could say you looked great out there. Your moves are great. And you were really into this. You could tell. I guess if you want to tone it down a little bit. But again, it's Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons comments about the ladies are giving the energy of the gross uncle who corners you at the reunion. This is what people are saying over on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. More comments about Gene. Gene is seriously sucking all the energy out of the ballroom with his creepy comments about the female dancers. They're not that creepy. They just aren't. I'm getting the feeling that Gene Simmons is just choosing his scores based on how attractive he thinks the girl is. Yikes. Oh, the horrors of thinking that the girl is attractive and making a decision based on that. Now, if they can't dance at all, right, then you can look at that and say, well, you can't dance, so you're not going to do well. But say everybody can dance, and then it's up to like their style, presentation, how they look. I would say how they look. Do they look good together? People would say it in a positive way, like, hey, it's a good looking couple and they really know how to dance. Gene, a little bit more straightforward, but nothing other than gyration. That's a word I probably wouldn't have chosen, right? I wouldn't have chose that word. But the outrage, oh, the horrors of creepy Uncle Gene Simmons. Again, bottom line here, and this should satisfy everybody who's watching this video. They probably shouldn't have chosen Gene Simmons, right? But he's, again, as far as being creepy and 75 years old, and he probably picked women for Kiss videos himself. I mean, this is all true stuff. So he probably knows something about all this. And he probably thought to himself, well, we need a girl who can gyrate. It's not that far-fetched. It's just the outrage, and people are going to get all bent out of shape because he made these comments. This is why comments in general they can be really destructive. They can be positive, but as soon as you get one or two that aren't positive, it's super destructive and super discouraging. And again, Gene Simmons being who he is, he can just give everybody here the middle finger and walk away and never come back and do this again. And nobody will care, and he won't care, and life will go on, and he'll still be rich. And most of these people aren't. And so he'll just say, hey, I've made the money and I have a right to say what I want to say, even if it sounds a little misogynistic to you all. And see, we've raised that bar so high that the girl is uncomfortable with him saying you're a beautiful woman. I'm sorry, that's stupid. That's just dumb. But maybe because it's coming from creepy Uncle Gene, 75 years old. I don't want to hear that from that guy. He's too old and creepy to say that to me. And yeah, maybe you use some discretion if you're creepy and old. And so I've got to work on that too. Everybody has to work on it. We all have to do better. And you never know who you're going to offend or why. That's the whole point of this video. Everything is offensive to so many people. And even if you're not aiming your criticisms at them, it ends up that you're criticizing them or they think you're criticizing them. It's wow. And maybe I should just be specific. This is who I'm talking about here. Anyway, folks, it's a no win. It's a no win for me, and it's definitely a no win for Gene Simmons. So before I stop talking, uh, we got Memoria Avenue. Check them out if you have an opportunity to do that. Also, Patreon, still for YouTube members, while things hopefully continue on the way they are. But if they don't, there's Buy Me a Coffee, and then there's a way you can follow me somewhere else. I'm starting to tell people, hey, look, I have a really bad feeling here, and so let's just have a contingency plan. So if I go away, I'll still be somewhere. It's just going to be difficult for some people because people don't like change. They get used to the same technology and they want to just keep it that way. So anyway, folks, God bless you all. Pray for those who were really affected by Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helena. And then now there's another hurricane apparently heading for the Gulf of Mexico. Good times, folks. Talk to everybody soon, and thanks for watching.